Hello, Aquarius. Welcome to your Sagittarius Full Moon reading. This is the theme that we're working with is Resplendent Surrender. It came to me while I was on a walk doing some meditating on the energy. And I think it's just this beautiful, rich time of letting go. Interestingly enough, when I was meditating on your energy, Aquarius, I got the slow, like the way that lava creates islands and like this slow moving lava. I don't know where the energy was coming from, but it was popping up in like, it's just like the creation of worlds from within the depths of the earth. So I feel like you're very powerful in your energy in terms of what you're creating, what you're working on this month. Things that you're hoping not to manifest just from a vision board sense, but like think bigger picture, right? Think big picture. Think of I'm thinking about like family, like legacies that you want to leave, things that you're teaching children, things that you're teaching yourself or others around you, things that you are leaving with the community, things that you are leaving in community, things that you're working on therein. Let me just pull this over so that the cards, there we go. But like that kind of energy, like thinking bigger than just like the things that make a life comfortable, is the things that make a life meaningful too. So there's something big about that. But just, I had this vision of like slow moving lava creeping across the earth and then like emerging from the ocean. And for some reason, the Pacific Ocean came to mind, but like emerging from the ocean and just the way that you're, something about what you're, the energy that you're working in or with is like making worlds right now. So, or making worlds possible. So let's see what the cards have to say about that. Okay. So I would like to invite the angels, my guardian angels, my spirit guides, protectors, teachers, and their healing energy to this space. And I ask that it is a safe and brave space that allows for the fullest expression of our light, humanity, ascension, and healing. This little squish did this, I think, with the Gemini reading too. So sweet, my angel. Yes, you are. Here, do you want to clear the deck? Okay, thank you. Okay. Spirit, what messages do you have for Aquarius for this Sagittarius full moon? Drop into your heart. I'm hearing Virgo. I don't know why. Maybe, I don't know if Virgo had the same card. It just struck me as like 6th house energy for some. So I don't know what placements you have there, but. Drop into your heart. Hidden beauty. Oh, that's a nice pencil drawing. I just see this beautiful, intricate dance between like muscle and thickness. I don't know. This, like, it's like this beautiful interplay. Oh, she's making a break for it. But she did it so dramatically. Did you see that? Now she's stretching as she walks. Oh my goodness. Okay. Spirit, what other messages do you have for Aquarius for this Sagittarius full moon? Knowing without knowing. A lot of signs have been getting this one. Knowing without knowing. It's almost like a superpower, isn't it? I think. Spirit, what messages do you have for Aquarius? Kicking things off in the Hermit. I feel like maybe you've been kind of going within a little bit here. Here, let me do this. A little bit of turning inward, turning within. Two of Cups. Gemini had something similar. I think you're embracing more love, to be completely honest, Aquarius. Embracing love, embracing partnership. Yes, a card fell out, but it didn't fall out and the energy didn't feel right. I didn't even look at it. Death. Wow. Quite a few major arcana cards here. I almost feel like the Hermit and the Death card are two different sides of the same energy for you right now, Aquarius. Like the death and rebirth, but this is kind of where you go to do that. This is like the where you go. And I heard Virgo too. Yeah. This drop into your heart card. I heard Virgo. Okay, so let me... That's loud, and this can go here, but I heard Virgo, right? And then the Hermit showed up. I just realized that. Oh my goodness. But I feel like this is like where you go to be in the Death card. That part within you where you go to transform, or place outside where you go to do that. And I think that you're embracing love, because the release is like, it's almost like the time of, it's like now that you've rebirthed, what now, right? What now? And I think how the light gets in is this 10 of Cups with this 2 of Cups. So it would not shock me if this was a relationship for you, or a deepening of an existing relationship, like finding ways to relate. Like things could have been a little like stale feeling, especially with, for some places the pandemic is, the effects of it are still ongoing. Even as restrictions ease, it just, things look and feel different, right? They look and feel different. The Star, your card, and the 9 of Swords. I get the impression that there's something that you're worrying about, like you're reluctant to leave this hidden place within you, Aquarius, because you're a bit nervous about how it's like it's sort of taking you out of your power. It's taking you out of your own energy. And it's almost like I'm getting this catastrophizing with, using emotions that don't actually apply, that don't actually exist. The Hermit. Yeah, more Virgo energy. Again, the Hermit on the Hermit. Six of Swords, 6 of Wands, 7 of Swords, 6 of Cups, Death. Again, repeating cards for sure. I'm getting that this, like, embracing the idea of true love. And, like, what does true love mean? Well, true love is exactly what you make of it. It's the work that you put in, right? It's not, like, bestowed upon you or anything like that. And I feel like this is, like, maybe you felt like the work that you put in would be, it's like, is it worth it in the end? Is it worth it in the end? And I think that there's this sort of, that was maybe some naivete on your part, a little bit of naivete. And that's part of this Death card, that you're coming out, you're rebirthing, but you're a lot less naive now. And not in a way that's hardened you, but you're realistic while understanding what to be unrealistic about. The Hermit, though. I'm just going to pull a clarifying card on the Hermit. Because I'm feeling this energy of like you're withdrawing a little bit, Aquarius. And it's not bad. Sometimes, I mean, we all go into those places where we withdraw somewhat. But it's what you're withdrawing for and when you plan to re-emerge, right? Let me do this here so you can see some of the rest of it. There we go. What you plan to do with things as you re-emerge. 10 of Cups on the bottom. The Sun. So I feel a lot like I'm certainly feeling like this is like you withdrew because of your happiness. Like it's like clarifying what it is, like shining a light on what made you happy. Like not just happy as in like, that's such a nice day. Do you remember that day? Like Isn't this an amazing life that I have? Joy is at the center. Fulfillment is at the center. And I'm doing this for myself based on what I know and what I know to be true for me and of me. Right? What is that? And what does that mean for you? And I think this death card is the rebirth. Like, that's kind of the story of this rebirth for you, is where it's like you're emerging from the idea and the possibility of what you want being accessible to you. And it's not about believing that you weren't worthy or couldn't have it. It was just like it always felt like you had to take, like you had to, it was like pulling teeth. I went to the dentist the other day, so that's teeth metaphors galore. I love that place. Dentists are so fun. I'm an odd duck. It's fine. 111 11 on the time. My goodness. But I feel like this is like it's like you felt like you were pulling teeth just to get like the most basic needs met. And it was this naivete that you possessed that left you feeling like that was like just how it was going to be forever, when it wasn't how it had to be at all. And I think that's where this rebirth and transformation are taking place from. I think that's where it's taking place from. Yeah, we're transforming disappointment and the belief that we can't have what we want. And then it's just like, this is like big disappointment energy, but it's also fives, and that's change, right? So this is what we're birthing out of. Can you tell me a little bit about what we're releasing into? Clarity. Knight of Swords. Page, a lot of swords energy. My goodness. I feel like you've done the thinking. Like, you've done the research, you've done the clarifying, you've done the analyzing. Indeed, you've done it all. Congratulations, Aquarius. You've done yourself. Like, you've outdone yourself. But you have all the information you need. I feel like this is you just trying to sit back and figure it all out, but your arms are crossed. And if you look really closely at these energies, it looks like they're charging at something, and the Queen is being like, bring it. That's not an open embrace, right? The Nine of Cups isn't even an open embrace. So I think that's really what the surrender is like this surrender of like this barrier around your mind. I don't know what this barrier around your mind. Like, I know Aquarians are like, Aquarians be like that. But also there's like a heart center here as well. Ace of Wands on the bottom. Hanged Man. Okay, I get it. Thank you so much, Spirit. I think that this is you trying to take the long tack because there were things that showed up that were illusions. And I think that they threw you for a loop. And the one thing that I know of Aquarian energy is that when you mess with it for too long, where it takes away a sense of clarity and peace, maybe not even peace, just clarity, there's like big pullback, right? But I think this is fresh clarity arriving, Aquarius. I think that this really is the case, and it's not coming from a person. It's not coming from a situation necessarily. I think that you're realizing that this period, like, the butterfly doesn't, by nature of its existence, stay in the cocoon after it gets its wings. Once those wings grow, it leaves that enclosure. It leaves that space because it has to. It can't continue to survive inside the cocoon, right? It just can't. And I went to a butterfly conservatory near here, and I spent the day there. I took myself out on a date. This was like over the winter, but I took myself out on a date there, and it was so lovely. It was, freezing cold out, but I wanted the sunlight. So I sat by this waterfall, and then I went over to where all the butterflies emerge. And one of the people we were talking, it was like one of the keepers. I was going to say the butterfly keepers, but I don't know what they're called. But she was telling me that every day they birth like hundreds in terms of all the different types into the conservatory there. And she showed me one, and the wings have to dry off. I feel like a reader talked about this recently, and it was on my mind, and it brought me back to being at the conservatory and them explaining this. And it was this beautiful black and green butterfly. And it was something to behold, because you sit and you think like, well, how does the butterfly know that it's time? And it doesn't. It has something, there's like a signal that goes off internally that it just knows. It's aware. It's like a high priestess moment for the butterfly, right? And I feel like you can only hold back on soaring for so long. And it's not like there's going to be tower moments. Some people might threaten that, but it doesn't work like that. It just, it starts to get louder. It starts to get louder until you can't ignore it anymore. You just can't. Yeah, you can't ignore it anymore. Judgment and the Four of Cups. Okay, I'm going to start to clarify this Ten of Cups here. Spirit, can you help me clarify this Ten of Cups for Aquarius for this Sagittarius full moon? King of Cups. Ace of Swords and Three of Wands came out together. Two of Swords, the Moon. This is like the High Priestess in different forms, right? There's like how the light gets in is you showing up in this beautiful watery energy, right? This is one of your powers, right? People talk about Aquarians and air signs as like there's not like prominent feeling. That's not our element, but there is a King of Cups in all of us. And I think this is a call for you to tap into that. Right. This decisive, this emotional decisiveness, being in control of your emotion to the extent that you can read it and understand it and integrate it without it running you, but also not shying away from what it needs to tell you. And I think that's really the start of how the light gets in, and then this positive outcome. Like there's some kind of truth that you're coming to within yourself that's helping you to see. That's helping you to see that there's this, like, it's almost like the death process, the rebirth process has already happened, but it's almost like you were just hermiting because it was safer. Because it was safer. And again, this is like that High Priestess, that inner knowing. The Two of Swords is a kind of an indecision card, but it's also like accumulating more information until you are able to see the answer. But with the Moon here, I don't think you're going to see it. I think you're going to feel it. I think this is a truth that you're going to have to dip into your heart space for. Not just about this process of spreading your wings here. Not just about that process. Because I do see death here, and I also see Pluto in judgment, right? And then the Hanged Man tells me that this is like a reassessment. But I don't think it's new information. I think it's stuff that you already know. But with a fresh eye for it in the Ace of Wands. Yeah, it's like a fresh eye for this. It could be that you're seeing something new because there's a Two of Cups on the table that you see, and this can be a relationship, obviously. I think it might be more relationship oriented than not. But if this isn't a relationship, it's a way of seeing how you might want to do something or do things with a partner that you have or partners that you have. This could also be wanting to integrate more heart, like put more heart into your work, right? Not just passion, but sincere excitement about your day. What does that look like and where does it come from for you? But there's something about this process. It's not delayed. Because delayed makes it sound like it's like, there's like this aspect of like fate playing into things or whatever, but I don't get that that's the case. And also delay implies that you could miss out on something. I feel like it's more so that you really had to The way I'm looking at it right now is like, this is your inner grown-up and this is your inner child, and your inner grown-up is saying to your inner child, like, it's okay to come out now. It's okay to come out now. That just came through on the way that I saw that. If they loved you once, they still do. I don't think this is about return energy necessarily. Some people might be like, I debate that because of judgment being here. And that's fine. But I get this as being more so a thing of looking to the lightness in what has happened, right? I think I've told this story before where I was on a date with someone and they asked me what I loved about, like, what did I love about my ex-wife? And it was like, admittedly, it threw me for a loop, but because I was like, that's a weird question to ask on a date. But then it was also refreshing on the other side. Like, after I was like, okay. But it was just like, there was light in those things too. Right? There was light in those things too. And I think it's important to remember that that love doesn't go away. It just changes form. And there's something to be said for appreciating everywhere you've been. Not because I don't think you haven't been, but like the belief, love is never in vain. That just came flying out. I'm going to put that here and I'm going to pull another one for you, Aquarius, because we got time. Yeah. No part of your heart has ever been wasted. No part of the heart that you've given has been wasted, Aquarius. And I know that I count myself among you. You don't give it away easily. And that's not to say like people, it's not like some like vain put up a fight in ego kind of crap that turns it into a game either. It's just, I feel like all of the swords here tell me that there is an assessment period before you really allow yourself even just this rebirthing process. But there's a lot of wisdom here for you. Turn on your love light. Yeah. Because there's more stuff coming. I think that's the other thing to keep in mind. And not just partners or relationships in future or friendships, but like moments where you will forget where you are because you're so excited and happy. Moments that you will remember that you are in a vessel because you're overtaken with so much joy and awe and bliss. And I think you have to turn on the light for that so that you can remember if you go within and you go too far from home internally and you stray because of fear or whatever as you search for this wisdom. Wisdom doesn't have an expiration date, but I think fear would like you to believe that it's safer to stay within than to go to finally bring yourself outwards. Right? And this isn't just about relationship. This can be anything, right? Like this can be anything in terms of how you express your joy or feel it or see it in the world. So this is the Miracles Now deck by Gabby Bernstein. So let's pull from here to see where else the universe and spirit takes us, my darling Aquarians. Spirit, what messages do you have for Aquarius for the Sagittarius full moon to end this reading? Please and thank you. When I've overshared, I simply say, wait, why am I talking? Applies to oversharing, overgiving, all of it. I think that this is the overs, right? And maybe you overgave, maybe you over explained yourself, maybe you over analyzed. It's the overs, right? And there's something to be said for the freedom that you gain. The freedom that you gain when you release that. Yeah, I'm not the victim, I am the lighthouse. And that's this hermit energy, right? It's a very useful reminder. And, people might say, I am not in that energy. That's so low vibe. Well, you know what? Bravo. I'm excited for you. To those who get caught up in this energy, because we can get caught up in it every day, right? Oh, my cat's coming through. Yes, I know. We can get caught up in this every day. And you know, it's, you don't emerge and then you ascend and then poof, you're done. It's like you do this, it's like unfolding every day, right? It's the Alanis Morissette song, Incomplete. We're not here to get it done. We're just not. So if you're in this energy, even if you're feeling sorry for yourself because of the way something happened, you're the lighthouse. Find people and situations that remind you of your lighthouse, of the fact that you are a lighthouse, right? Sometimes that means letting people go. Sometimes that means welcoming new people in. It can go either way. Like there's no right or wrong way to do that either. But I think that there's something to be said for remembering that you can't hide yourself away forever. And you don't want to, right? You don't want to. I know I don't. I wouldn't. So drop into your heart, even if it feels uncomfortable, not because of feelings, but just because of nerves, the things that you find there, right? Like I've been, you know, acting as if when it comes to dating and thinking about dating folks again, and like all of those milestones that you experience and things like that, just being in that like mushy, marshmallowy place of like dating someone and like first kisses, or, you know, holding hands for the first time, and these like weird things that make you feel like you're like 14 again. You're like a kid, you're like, oh, and just nervous. And then, you know, I recently uncovered a whole swath of things that I was like, oh, I didn't realize that I was kind of carrying discomfort with my body. You know, but you work through it, you see it, you're like, oh, got it. And then you work through it because you remember that you're the lighthouse here, right? So it's like you're going to come up against things like that all the time. It doesn't matter that they're there. What matters is what you do with them, and how you choose to rise, right? How you choose to step into this death card energy. I think it's over here. Yeah. How you choose to step into this energy because you know that this is available to you. And like, not just a little available to you as in like it showed up twice because it wanted to emphasize itself. So Aquarius, come out wherever you are. Even though that sounds creepy, I think of like, I don't know why I think of like Pennywise the Clown. I can't do horror movies, but for some reason it feels weird to say it that way. But it's just like, I feel like the life wants to play and engage with you right now. So be ready for that, because I think that when people start coming by, you're going to want to be in, your 10 of Cups energy. So on that note, my darlings, this is your reading, Aquarius, for Sagittarius Full Moon, for the Sagittarius Full Moon. So if this resonated, please like and subscribe. I would love to have you on the channel if you are not already. And if you are, thank you so much for subscribing. I really appreciate it. And truly, it does, it means a lot to me. So thank you for that. There are other ways you can connect with me on the channel, so feel free to check that out. But if this is where we part, my darlings, I hope you have a wonderful day, and that wherever this finds you on the time-space continuum, morning, afternoon, or night, that it finds you very, very well. Take care, my lovelies.